Hi there, it's Marc from Tranquil Garden Urban Homestead. And today is seeding day, so we're pretty excited to get some seeds in. Right now we're doing this in the late summer, August time, but this technique and all the tips that I show you can also be used, of course, in springtime when you're seeding your vegetables for summer harvest. So let's get going. So the first step is to gather all your supplies that you need, and you don't need much. Basically what we're looking at is, I have a tray here, this green tray that I use, and this tray probably can hold about 16 or maybe actually a bit more pots, and so I've got them all sort of contained. I can move them around the greenhouse if I need to, or take them outside for planting or for hardening off. So these kind of trays are useful. If you don't have a tray like this though, you can make do with well-washed styrofoam trays that you might have, or other containers that can contain a little bit of water. Because that's the other reason for the tray, is so that when you water your seedlings, the excess water, if you overwater, will go into the tray and won't drip all over the place. So the other thing that you need are some containers, and I happen to have these plant pots that some transplants came in, some flowers that I bought. So, but you can use pretty well any container. You can use a yogurt container such as this one, or you can use the deli takeout containers. Just wash them really well, and you just basically need something to contain the soil. You need it fairly deep. I would say go at least with maybe 1 inch to 2 inches, 5 centimeters or so. If it's a little bit deeper, that's better for some seedlings that want to develop long roots, but so long you've got a little bit of depth. And in terms of the size, this is sort of standard size. You can go a little bit smaller, but keep in mind the smaller you go, the less room for the roots, and also they tend to dry out very quickly. So a little bit bigger is better in that sense. So to fill them, what I have here is I have some vermiculite, which you can buy at a garden center or even a home center if they have a garden section. Just plain vermiculite, which you can buy in a bag. It's very light, so it's not too heavy like regular potting soil would be, or compost. And then the other thing is a block of coconut coir. And you can use peat moss if you want. There are some concerns about using peat moss because it's not necessarily a renewable resource, in the sense that it takes hundreds of years to develop peat bogs. So the coconut coir comes in a block. I've got one down here. I'll just show you quickly. So it comes like this. Big block. You can break off parts as you need it, and then you do need to soak this coconut coir to kind of rehydrate it, so that's something to keep in mind. Break some pieces off, put them in a bowl or maybe in a bucket, and add a little bit of water, and just keep adding water until it's fairly well saturated. You don't want it too wet, but at least wet enough. And then basically the ratio that you want to use is 50%, 50%. So 1 part coconut coir and 1 part vermiculite. Alright, what else do we need? Well, we need seeds, obviously. And I'm using seeds from West Coast Seeds. Obviously you can use seeds from pretty well any supplier. And I'll leave a link to some seed companies' websites, so you can do some looking around. And today I'm just going to plant some turnips, some special Japanese, they call them gourmet turnips, hakurai, and these ones do better in fall than in spring. In springtime I have problems with bugs, and I have problems with them bolting on me and getting hard and not edible and so forth. So fall tends to be a better time for it. Same with soy choy. This is Chinese cabbage, or Napa cabbage as it's sometimes called, and this one does better in cooler weather. So you can plant it in early spring, but in my case I'm going to plant it now in August for hopefully harvest maybe in October. So that one is a good one again to pick cool weather for. Spinach is also one that you want to plant ideally in cool weather. Spinach is very quick to bolt, and this way, once the weather starts cooling down a little bit, the spinach will likely not bolt. Now some people might wonder why I'm planting spinach, seeding spinach first and then putting it into the garden. You can direct seed it, but I sometimes have problems with direct seeding. Birds tend to eat the seeds and so forth. So I'm going to sprout them at least in the greenhouse, and once they get to a decent size, they'll be transplanted outside. And then in order to know what you planted, especially if you're planting a whole bunch of stuff, I've got some plant tags that are actually made from old Venetian blinds. If you do this, make sure the Venetian blinds are not the ones that had lead in them in the paint. These ones are fine. Or you can use popsicle sticks, or you can take actually a yogurt container and just cut thin strips out of the sides and use those. And then of course you want a permanent marker to mark the plant labels. And then finally you want a watering can. You want one with a fine rose. This one here has a really fine rose. Or if you don't have that, then you could just use a spray bottle, just a regular water spray bottle that you can buy at any dollar store to keep your seeds from floating away. You don't want to use any strong water streams. So let's get started. So the first thing to do obviously is to fill up our pots with the soil mixture, and it's just a matter of popping it in. You're bound to make a bit of a mess, so make sure to do it somewhere where you don't mind making a bit of a mess. This stuff is dry right now, so it's easy to clean up after. And you want to fill it up almost to the top. And then once you're done, what you want to do is look on the back of your seed packet and see what it actually says in terms of how deep you should sow your seeds. And in this case it says 1/4 to 1/2 inch deep, or 5 millimeters to 1 centimeter deep. So in this case, in a pot like this, I want to plant 4 seeds. So I'm just going to open it up and carefully pop out 4 seeds. And these are fairly tiny. You can see they're maybe 1 millimeter or so in size. So once you've got those, what I generally do is I just use my finger and pop a couple of dimples into the soil, which is roughly 1/4 inch or 1/2 centimeter, and then I pop each one in, 4 of those. Once they're in, all you need to do is tap the soil back over, or the soil is mix in our case, until they're just covered. Usually it's not a good idea to plant seeds too deeply. They'll struggle to sprout and germinate, so it's sometimes better to err on the side of caution, plant them a little bit shallower than you think they need. And sometimes people will say, well, just plant them the depth of the width of the seed, and that can sometimes work. So smaller seeds should always be planted shallower, and larger seeds should be planted deeper. And then the final step, or second to final step, is to mark down what it is on your tag. So in my case it's turnips. You can also include the date. So I believe it's August the 2nd or 3rd. I think it's the 3rd actually. Just so that you have an idea of when you planted it. So we'll do it that way so you can actually read it. And the other thing you might want to do is just put in the variety that you're planting, but these are the only turnips I'm planting, so that's pretty straightforward. So in they go. The label. And then the final thing is to give them a light watering. Now the good thing about the soilless mix is it's good at drainage or draining. So it's kind of hard to overwater, but you do not want to completely saturate it. And you'll notice when the water starts coming out the bottom. And then that's it. And so then the next thing to do will be to plant up the other containers, and I'll come back and show you what a full flat like this looks like with all of the seeds planted and labeled. Alright, so now I've invited my daughter here, Misaki, to actually help me with seeding. And so this is a fun activity for kids, and it's something that you definitely can teach them fairly early on so that they get an idea of what it takes to grow your own vegetables and how easy it is. So Misaki, can you fill this one up with soil? No, just dump it in. That's it. I think we can put all of it in. There you go. You got some more left? Put that in and then flatten it out a little bit. Oh, did you find a big piece? Okay. So what do you want to plant in here? You want to plant spinach? Okay, let's open up the spinach. And so let's try to flatten that out a little bit more. Okay, now make 4 little dimples. So in a square like this. They don't have to be too deep. Nope, that's too deep. So maybe this deep. Yeah, that's it. Spinach seeds are actually quite big, so we can plant them a little bit deeper. I'm just going to shake some out here, and I'm going to give you 4 of them. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, and then put those in those little holes. Doing a good job here. Excellent. And then just close up the holes a little bit with your fingers. That's it. And like that, we're done. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll water. Here you go. Is that alright? Yeah. Okay, make sure you get the water inside the pot. And while you're doing that, I'm going to make a label. Where did I put my pen? There it is. Sorry for the reach. Yeah, it's nice and wet. And what are we planting again? Spinach. Alright. Spinach. It's August 3rd. Good. And then you can stick that in there. There we go. So we'll show that to everyone. There's a nice pot of 4 spinach seeds. So thank you, Misaki. Do you want to continue helping me? Okay, we'll do some more and then we'll show you what the end result is. So there we have it. A whole flat full of seedlings. Or at least they will be seedlings soon. So we've got broccoli. And I haven't bothered marking every single pot. I basically just do like this full row is broccoli. And then we've got lettuce. And then we've got daikon radish. We've got soy choy. We've got spinach. We've got turnips. And we've got turnips, because they are small turnips. So, let's go back up here. There, Misaki's still helping me. She was helpful in getting all the pots filled up, and then also planted some of the seeds. So, thanks very much for watching. I hope that's given you some inspiration to get some seeding done, whether it's this fall for some fall and winter vegetables, or you will wait until the springtime and then follow this video in the spring to get your seeds started early. So thank you for watching, and if you like this video and would like to be notified when more come out, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon for notifications, and also if you can like the video, that'd be great. And so until next time, have fun starting seeds. Bye.